Hi, dear cricket fans. Welcome to Cricket Happenings, your favorite show here with your host Ram. Well, today we are looking at the third day's play in the test match, the third test match of the Airtel Test Series between India and New Zealand, which was played at the Vidarbha Cricket Association Stadium, Jamta, in Nagpur. Well, the interest was totally centered around Sachin Tendulkar reaching his 50th Test century, but there was real disappointment for India there as it was Andy McKay who celebrated that wicket when actually with some extra bounce he had Sachin Tendulkar actually getting an edge on to a very good delivery from McKay, which really hit the deck hard and just rose at Tendulkar. And Tendulkar, what he could do is just dab at it. And well, Hopkins behind the wickets actually held the catch. And there was absolute disappointment for all the fans at the Vidarbha Cricket Association Stadium in Nagpur, with Tendulkar once again missing the opportunity to get his 50th Test century. And what a way for Andrew McKay to actually start off his career here with a wicket, the first wicket on his debut as Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar. So, and Andy McKay, I'm sure, is going to savor this wicket for quite a long time. Not a long time, for his entire career, he would be savoring that wicket of Sachin Tendulkar. And so, Andy McKay was absolutely happy when he actually had Tendulkar, and also he was very humble enough after the press conference where he said that he was feeling very sorry that he had taken Tendulkar's wicket and actually eluded him his 50th Test century. So that is some real character coming in from Andy McKay. Well, the story of the day generally, if you see, it was Tendulkar and Lakshman actually. Resuming their innings there. It was Tendulkar and Dravid. I'm sorry about that. And Tendulkar was the first to go for 61 of 129 balls with 8 fours. And after that, VVS Lakshman played some very good drives, very good flick of his wrist, but that was it. As Chris Martin came in with one of his booming late in swingers, and VVS Lakshman was really couldn't fathom what was happening as Martin got the ball to really swing a bit late, and VVS Lakshman was late into his stroke, and in through the bat and pad gap it went and hit the off stump, and the off stump was sent cartwheeling. So Lakshman was gone, clean bowled by Martin for 12 with 2 boundaries. Suresh Raina also disappointed here as Daniel Vettori's first delivery gave him Suresh Raina's wicket, as Suresh Raina was caught by the substitute BJ Watling on the onside, the forward short leg of the bowling of Vettori for 3, and India suddenly were looking, I wouldn't say in trouble, even though they were 135 runs on. New Zealand had done a very good job there by actually taking 5 wickets off India for 328. So they resumed at 292 for 2, reduced to 328 for 5. But after that, the Indian captain Mahendra Singh Dhoni joined Rahul Dravid. Rahul Dravid, well, he was playing a stroke, but he was very watchful. But Mahendra Singh Dhoni decided to play in a very positive fashion. As you know, Dhoni has not been among the runs in this particular series, and Dhoni really started playing in very positive fashion. And well, it was really working it out for him because MS Dhoni played some meaty drives. There was a lot of punch in his strokes. There was a lot of power in his strokes. One of the strokes that he hit was, as you know, Dhoni just relies on raw power when he hits the ball. He just rolls his wrist and just slams the ball past the bowler to the fence. There were some whips there, and Dhoni was completely confident. In fact, his first 50 came in very quick time. And at the other end, Dravid also seeing that Dhoni was actually going on in a more positive manner. Dravid also decided to play some very good strokes. Until he did all that, he was playing all his customary strokes through cover, mid wicket, and everything. But once he was absolutely stalled on 86 for 56 deliveries. And Dhoni continued to continued to take pace and spin a lag. He was hitting Vettori. Kane Williamson was actually deposited into the fence. He also hit one very good 6, one huge 6 of the spinner. And well, it all continued, and that was a very fruitful Indian stand because India recovered, I would say, from 328 for 5. and for the score that they find themselves in, as the end result was Mahendra Singh Dhoni, the Indian captain, declared the innings closed at 566 for 8 wickets declared. And well, it was all set up by this 195-run partnership, which was between Mahendra Singh Dhoni, the Indian captain, and Rahul Dravid, the wall of India. Well, what a knock from Rahul Dravid too. Rahul Dravid also reached his 150 in the meanwhile, and from 328 they took the score on to 521 when the sixth wicket fell, and that was Mahendra Singh Dhoni, and Mahendra Singh Dhoni was caught and bowled by, and this was very unfortunate for Dhoni, because Dhoni, after being very very positive, and he was really really looking good for his century with his score on 98, but Daniel Vettori sensed that Dhoni is having cramps, and he came round the wicket, and what Dhoni could do is Dhoni could just push the ball back, because of the foot movement was really really hampered at that time, and Mahendra Singh Dhoni pushed the ball into Vettori's hands. Vettori held the catch gleefully, and Dhoni was walking for 98. Caught and bowled Vettori of 156 deliveries, 12 fours and 1 6. Very unfortunate. Mahendra Singh Dhoni did not go to make on his century. Harbhajan Singh came in. Initially was very surprisingly, even though probably India should have gone for quick runs at that stage, Dravid was really stroking the ball well. Probably Harbhajan Singh wanted to see to it that Rahul Dravid reaches his double century. Harbhajan Singh took his time, but before that, Dravid was gone, because Dravid, after contributing a wonderful century here of 191, missing his double century by just 9 runs, a marathon effort of 396 deliveries, 21 fours, caught Guptill, and Williamson was the bowler there. So Dravid was gone for 191, and India was 549 for 7. After that, Harbhajan Singh did some good hitting there, getting 20 or 47 balls with 1 4 and 1 6, and he was a victim of Martin when he was caught in the deep by McCullum. Ishant Sharma was not out on 7. Sreesanth was not out on 0. India declared at 566 for 8 wickets declared. That was an overall lead of 373 runs. And as far as the bowling figures were concerned, well, Chris Martin, 28 overs, 4 maidens, 2 for 82. Tim Southee, 29 overs, 5 maidens, 1 for 94. Andy McKay, 31 overs, 5 maidens, 1 wicket, and that prize wicket of Sachin Tendulkar for 120. Daniel Vettori, 58 overs, 7 maidens, 3 for 178. Kane Williamson, 11 overs bowled for 1 for 45. Martin Guptill bowled 7 overs for 27. And Ross Taylor wheeled his arm over for 1 over for 3 runs. As far as New Zealand's second dig was concerned, already in arrears as far as 373 runs were concerned, New Zealand had nothing going their way, as their opening partner Tim McIntosh couldn't go further. He struggled for his 8 runs of 30 balls, and eventually he was gone, as Harbhajan Singh got the ball to turn, and Tim McIntosh was trapped LBW by Harbhajan Singh for 8. And after that, Brendan McCullum was not out on 15 at close with 2 fours. Hopkins, the night watchman, Gareth Hopkins, the wicketkeeper night watchman, was not out on 1. And New Zealand finished the day at 24 for 1, another 349 runs in arrears to make India bat again. And well, as far as the bowling figures were concerned, Sreesanth 3 overs, 1 maiden, none for 13. Ishant Sharma 2 overs, which were maidens. Pragyan Ojha 3 overs, 1 maiden, none for 2. And Harbhajan Singh 3 overs, no maiden, 1 for 9, the wicket taker, the solitary wicket. Well, dear cricket fans, subscribers, and friends of cricket happenings, I can only say one thing. New Zealand have a real uphill task tomorrow on the 4th day to actually save the match. The reason I'm telling that is because, as you know, the other day we saw the bounce was also a bit uneven, that the bounce is not, sometimes it bounces high, sometimes the bounce is not to the expectations. Besides, what we could see today there was there was good amount of turn. In fact, the ball which Harbhajan Singh bowled to get a Tim McIntosh wicket was a real turner. It really turned. So looking at the wicket, India have Harbhajan Singh and Pragyan Ojha. Pragyan Ojha also was actually able to turn the ball. So looking at this, I think it is going to be a very uphill task for New Zealand to score 373 to make India bat again. But I will have to say something here. We can't underestimate as the New Zealanders, I would say. The reason being, even in the first 2 tests, India were having New Zealand on a tight leash. but what really happened was there were a lot of unlikely heroes. Brendan McCullum with his double century, then Jesse Ryder came up with his century, Kane Williamson got a century, Martin Guptill was playing well. So you never know. So we can't underestimate the New Zealanders. I'm expecting another tough fight from them. Probably New Zealand would again buckle down, and probably there could be a new person tomorrow getting in some good knock, and that's what has to happen if they have to save this match, because according to me, this is going to be very tough for New Zealand. It is not as easy as it seems in the first two tests, because the ball is turning. You're into the fourth day, and I feel it's going to be a very, very uphill task for New Zealand. But as I said, in the first two tests, they have put up a lot of they have really put up a great display of batsmanship. Probably they would like to carry on that, or whether they are going to carry on that, or whether the Indian bowlers, the spinners Harbhajan Singh and Pragyan Ojha, are going to hold sway. And also, one more good thing for India is the ball is absolutely new. It is not very old. Only 11 overs have been bowled with a red cherry. And Sreesanth and Ishan Sharma, if they start in the morning, they would definitely like to give India a breakthrough. So all in all, it looks like a very uphill task for New Zealand. But we are looking forward to an enthralling day's play as far as the fourth day is concerned, which is really going to determine how the match is going to go. Whether if New Zealand are going to make a lot of runs and they are going to actually clear the arrears of three. They have to make they require another 349 runs with 9 wickets intact. Well, if they are going to make that, then that will make India bat again. But whether it goes that way, or whether India is able to actually get them out before they actually score the 349 runs, that is what is going to be seen. But all in all, it's going to be an enthralling day's play on the fourth day at the Vidarbha Cricket Association Stadium, Jamta in Nagpur, in the third test of the Airtel Test series between India and New Zealand. So we all look forward to that wonderful fourth day, which is going to happen tomorrow. That's it, dear cricket fans, subscribers and friends of Cricket Happenings. This is Ram signing off. Thank you.